Alright, on today's video I'm going to be talking about 3 problems I've run into being on this carnivore diet and the solutions that I have for these 3 problems I've run into. So yeah, and at the end of this video I'm going to put a clip in of the vegetarian visitors that I had. It's kind of interesting. I kind of find it fascinating. But stay tuned to the end and check that out, and let me get right into it. So the first issue that I got is being on the carnivore diet. I've been on it for now 13 weeks, lost over 50 pounds, feeling really good. I live out on a farm. I live over an hour away from a major center, so when I've got to go into town to get supplies for my work or anything like that, sometimes it can be unexpected and I jump my vehicle and away I go. And I end up being gone for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours sometimes. And when I'm out and I get hungry, I try to figure out what my choices are. You can stop at a grocery store and try to find a couple little things that you can eat, but fast food is kind of my scenario. So I've tried a few different kinds. Now I've been on this carnivore diet long enough, so if I do make a mistake, I do eat something that I think is sugar-free but is not, then I end up with inflammation in my neck and I get really bad headaches. And I can feel it. I feel drained, or the obvious, like I went out for chicken wings and they ended up being breaded. I figured, well, I may as well just have some, I'll try it. The next day I had headaches, I had aches, and as soon as I got home, within an hour after I eaten, I was hungry again. So as soon as I take sugar or carbs into my system, it just triggers this hunger thing, so I try to stay away from it. So these are the things that I came up with. So if I'm out running around, I don't know what restaurants everybody has or fast food things they have close to them. I tried McDonald's, just trying to eat the burger. Oh, not good. If you ever want to not eat McDonald's, just eat the meat. Have a taste. It's not really that wonderful. Out here we have a fast food restaurant called Wendy's. I order double Baconator with cheese with nothing on it. So I get the meat patty, cheese, and bacon. So I eat the meat, cheese, bacon, discard the bread, and that seems to be all right. So if you're ordering double cheeseburgers, you get bacon, and that seems to be able to help tie me over, which is a real added bonus. You can get processed meat, but thanks a lot to some of the comments and some of the people that have been making comments, for me to double check. Sometimes I'm reading the ingredients, like if I buy a pack of bacon, for example, it says 0 sugar, but you read right down into the ingredients and there's sugar in it, of course. And I can feel that. So I try to stay away from that. So my first issue is when I go out, instant food. There's really none. So if I have to go to a drive-thru, you can order like a double bacon cheeseburger, or you can kind of do some experimenting with the stuff that you locally have. So I found that helps. And going to restaurants. Restaurants is a tough one too. They kind of look at you funny when you're just like steak on a plate, nothing else. They still charge you full price, even it doesn't really matter. So now what I've started doing is I order my steak, and then for my side I ask if I can have maybe some bacon on the side or a couple of eggs. It's kind of an odd request, but it's not a bad thing. Even scrambled eggs and some steak or something, because you're paying for it, and a lot of people are willing to work with you, and that helps as well. So now my second biggest concern on this is when I go to the grocery store. So I'm looking at meats, I'm spending so much time just reading labels, and then it says no sugar, and you read farther, and then the ingredients, of course, there's sugar. So I like to eat a lot of sausage and kind of prepared meats. So what I've been doing is now I can buy ground pork, I can buy ground beef, I can buy ground chicken. All that stuff seems to be a lot more inexpensive when you go by the pound compared to sausage. And just pick your ratio. I go 50-50 beef, ground beef and ground pork, mix it together, throw in some salt, some garlic salt, a little bit of pepper, and instead of using a sausage stuffer, I just make patties. Just make little patties, put a little bit of butcher paper or something to separate them. Then you have stacks of pre-made sausage patties, which are really good. Which brings me to my third point. My third biggest issue with this diet is I always have to cook. If I'm hungry, I open the cupboards. There's nothing in the cupboards because everything's in the fridge or the freezer, it seems. So, batch cooking. A lot of you people are probably aware of this, but batch cooking is so important and makes things so much easier. So when I go to cook bacon, I cook a lot of it, a pound or two of bacon at a time. I'll cook a bunch of sausage or a bunch of burgers, and I basically just food prep. So I constantly, when I open the fridge or if I go to have a meal, then I have a plate of pre-cooked meat, sausage or bacon or whatever, and I just take some of that, fry myself a couple of eggs, reheat the meat if I feel like it, or eat it cold, depending on your preference, and that saves you so much. I'm always stressed out. You wake up in the morning and you're looking for something to eat, you don't have anything to eat, it's all frozen. Oh, it's just, it makes you want to just eat something else. So the biggest thing that I find is find out what fast foods you can actually deal with. So for me, Wendy's burgers, Dairy Queen burgers, A&W burgers, and just make sure you get nothing on it. So just a burger with cheese, that'll tie you through the day kind of thing. And then the next thing I find is when you go to restaurants, they want 20, 30 bucks for a steak and you order it and it's just a little steak on a plate. Just do a little bit of bartering with them. See if you can get a few sides, maybe a few eggs, a poached egg, a fried egg, scrambled eggs, a couple pieces of bacon, something like that, maybe a bit larger steak. They're pretty good. Most people are pretty good. They're willing to work with you. And that helps. And yeah, the third and final thing is when you do cook, so I cook every 3 days about. So I always have a plate full of prepared meat sitting in my refrigerator, and if I come in for lunch, I'll grab that meat, and then maybe while I'm heating the meat, then I'll cook myself up a couple eggs if I don't have any boiled eggs or any cooked eggs. Pickled eggs kind of save you a bunch of trouble too, and that just makes things a lot easier and a lot better to manage. So I figured I'd share that with my friends here, and hopefully that helps you out. I never really had anybody to help me in this carnivore journey thing. I just kind of did it on my own and decided this is how I'm going to do it. And I found a lot of things out, so I'm just trying to pass that on and let everybody else take it for what it's worth and see if any of that helps them. And yeah, so now I'm going to cut to the part of the video where I had unexpected guests, and they're all vegetarians. They don't eat any meat. So check out the reaction when I actually met them and greeted them. Thanks for watching, and see you again.
All right, here's my unexpected guests. I had over a dozen white-tailed deer in my yard when I came out of my shop. It's like a herd of deer. And the reason they come onto my yard is because I got a bunch of granaries, and here's a pair of them eating some barley that was spilt from one of the grain trucks. And I'm just looking out my garage window and having a look at these beautiful creatures. And yeah, they really seem to be enjoying their snack. Just majestic.